Hey, what's up, my fools? This is a pretty interesting story. So, Penguin Random House, which is a publisher, which is kind of disappointing. I kind of wish it was just a bunch of penguins in a random ass house, but it's not. It's a book publisher. There's kind of some internal conflict at this company because, according to some of the people who work there, they secretly they secretly conspired to publish Jordan Peterson's new book, which is called Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. Here's a quote from one of the executives they talked to in this article. We announced yesterday that we will publish Jordan Peterson's new book, Beyond Order, this coming March. Immediately following the announcement, we held a forum and provided a space for our employees to express their views and offer feedback. Our employees have started an anonymous feedback channel, which we fully support. We are open to hearing our employees' feedback and answering all of their questions. We remain committed to publishing a range of voices and viewpoints, the statement said. So, they're pretty upset about this, but here's the deal, okay? This guy has such a wildly committed and large following that this company is not going to sacrifice all that moolah. All that paper. They're not going to sacrifice it for some beliefs. That would be against the sort of nature of a company like this. This quote here from the Vice article is probably the most telling. The company since June has been doing all these anti-racist and allyship things, and them publishing Peterson's book completely goes against this. It just makes all of their previous efforts seem completely performative. You think? Oh, it's almost like they're a company who are trying to make money and not have a moral compass of any kind. So again, the book is called Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life. And I was kind of surprised by these rules, and I just want to show you some of them. So here's rule number 13. Bitch, I do rich shit. My money thick. I guess he's kind of referencing the sort of lobster hierarchy stuff he talks about there. Rule number 14. You know why these bitches love me? Why? Because Jordy don't give a what you do. What you do. I guess I guess he wants you to read it where there's like a chorus of some kind or like a background vocal of some kind. Okay. I mean, this is not what I was expecting from these rules. Rule 15. Told the bitch bring a chair, I can put my guns on it. Kind of shocking. Rule number 16. I pull up, give her D for the night. Trying to the V, it's I. I guess this is about relationships. I like these rules better than from what his previous book, it was all like take responsibility, pet a cat or something, or clean your house, or I don't know what. These rules kind of rule. It's weird because a couple years ago when this guy really started popping off, part of it is because he's been on the Joe Rogan Experience, 40 times. And Joe Rogan's like, yeah, this is very interesting. Jamie, pull up a video of a bear eating a drone or whatever. He's been on that show a million times. I think that's part of his popularity. But I actually, couple of years ago, I worked with a guy who was a Petersonite. Which was interesting, too, is because he was kind of like a black Republican, which was kind of weird, too. But he was actually a really nice dude, and I really liked him. But he was like a hardcore Peterson guy. And I was like, it was just around the time when it was like, I was like, what? Why do people like, what is this? Why do people like this old Canadian spaz so much? And I kept trying to hit him up, because we were like friends. And I kept trying to hit him up like, can you explain to me what this is and why you like him? And he was like fervent Jordan Peterson devotee. And one of the things that he cited was this interview where this lady, what's her name again? Kathy Newman, interviews him. And he was like, it just showed me, she was really mean to him, and it showed me how to stay cool under pressure. And okay, I guess that's something, but What's interesting is that this guy is not a fan of Slavoj Žižek, who went on this same show and got the exact same treatment from this lady.
Have suggested that you're urging revolt, that you're actually advocating violence.
No, wait a minute. I know these statements brought me into a lot of trouble.
A lot of your statements have brought you into a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but I'll
come
care.
on to LGBT later.
I'm resigned to it, but you can imagine people.
That's pretty problematic.
Yeah,
well, so of course, I mean, you know, you backed Donald Trump in the US election.
No,
and that...
I did it in a very cynical way, I hope.
But it was still a cynical backing.
Yeah, but
I mean, I thought for a minute you might cynically back Marine Le Pen.
No. Ecology. Capitalism, the way we know it now, cannot work.
I do wonder, though, when you backed Trump and you thought that he'd sort of end up being
but I explicitly made it only because I hope she will be, scandal, chaos, and so on.
Slavoj Žižek made some kind of one of his like, yes, I believe that I actually do support Trump or whatever. He made some joke about how he's a Trump supporter, and the lady just grilled him, asking him over and over again why he would say that. And he was just, you know, doing his thing, being Slav. And it would be so much more interesting if people became Slavoites instead of Petersonites. I can't even imagine what that would look like. Rule number 1, always demolish, just totally rip into a hot dog while you're, you know, fast walking down a sidewalk. The other reason that he seems to be so he's still popular, which is kind of amazing. I thought it would be like a fad thing, but he'll upload a video and the next day it'll have like 4 million views. The other thing is that I was thinking is like, well, maybe it's just like people need this kind of advice, but check this out. I'll read you something here. And I actually find this stuff pretty useful, to be honest. Like, I'm not going to throw self-help stuff in the trash because that's what it seems like most of his book is and most of his popularity is kind of centered on. But here, I'll read you the 4 agreements, okay? Here are the 4 agreements from the book, The 4 Agreements. Agreement number 1, be impeccable with your word. Agreement number 2, don't take anything personally. Agreement number 3, don't make assumptions. Agreement number 4, always do your best. So this is like a short little self-help book. And to be honest, like all the stuff that you would get from this Peterson book, you would get probably even more from a book like The 4 Agreements, and it would be more useful, and it would kind of not be written in pseudo-academic kind of how many pages can I fill speak. And to be honest, I've read this book, and it's actually, I think it's really actually helped me in a lot of ways. But it also doesn't have, well, actually, I don't know a lot about Don Miguel Ruiz, but I will say, I don't think he has like a cult following him. I could be wrong on that, but it's definitely not to the point of like Peterson, you know, $80,000 on Patreon Peterson, you know. I think that's like the disturbing part of it. Not that because I think self-help stuff is good. It's just the baggage, the weird Vice interview that should have ended his career, and the right-wing stuff and the cult stuff too. Like if Slavoj Žižek started having a cult following him around, I wouldn't like him as much. And I don't see that with him at all. I think it's people are like, oh, this guy's kind of an oddball, and he kind of he's smart, and he seems to write a book every 10 minutes. But there's no cult. Like if Žižek said anything that I thought was disgusting or wrong, it's like I'm not like out there to defend. Oh, Slav, you misunderstood what Slav was saying. You misunderstood Slav. It's not like that at all. I think that's like the disturbing part, the kind of all praises due to the master kind of stuff. Let's read the 4 agreements again. Be impeccable with your word. I mean, it's like don't lie. I think even Peterson has one in his book where it's just like, don't lie. Yeah, don't lie. Be impeccable with your word is even better than don't lie, because it's like not only don't lie, but if you say something, you got to follow up on it. If you're not going to do what you're saying, don't even say it, is how I read that. don't take anything personally. This is, I mean, you could just throw Jordan's book totally in the trash just for this one. Not taking, and that's the other thing. Like, you go on YouTube and, you know, when this guy started popping off and I was like, what is this? And I'm like looking into it. Man, these Peterson guys take themselves real seriously. And there are some YouTube channels that I'm not going to name that are kind of definitely inspired by Peterson. And oh boy, is it very self-serious, very stiff branches, these guys. Agreement number 3, don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. From what I remember about this book, it's like, don't read into what people are thinking about you. But there's like so many good ways you can read this thing about not making assumptions, because I don't know, at least for me, like so much of what I reflexively come up with in my brain is worst case scenarios and like negative thought loops and stuff. And not making assumptions is just like, start your day, start your every situation you get into like it's brand new. Don't drag your negative baggage into it. But there's also like, you know, there's also a way to interpret this, I think, where it's even more about being scientific, I guess, is a way I would put it. Like, don't assume just because you have a good idea or something like that. Don't just assume that it's going to work out. Don't just think that because you want something to work out that it's going to work out. You need to do things in the real world and see what feedback you get. So don't just assume that you're right about everything. A bunch of different ways you can read it. And then always do your best. Easy one. But the reason I brought this up and I wanted to talk about this specific book is because, again, I don't think it's the self-help stuff that makes this guy attractive. I think that at least part of it is the weird right-wing stuff. But I think another part of it is the kind of cultish part of it, of that there's a dad, like a dad who's going to come in and tell you what to do and figure everything out for you, which kind of suggests that people are in bad shape, that we need some kind of like big change in society, I think, which is oddly one of the things that he speaks out against. So beyond order, he's gonna just keep finding rules. Oh, I was having some maple syrup and I found 13 more rules. Oh, I was playing hockey and I looked behind the goal and there was 16 new rules. I mean, he's gonna keep pumping. He's gonna run out of rules eventually. These rules are gonna get really niche after a while. Rule number 483. Don't drink too much chocolate almond milk, because for some people you might have digestion issues that'll give you diarrhea. The last thing I want to say is I guarantee this video is going to get thousands, not thousands, of course, because I cannot get that many viewers, despite this being just such a great and well-produced channel. Definitely going to get a lot of thumbs down. A lot of these people are going to look at this video. They're going to say, he's not praising Jordy right off the bat. He's not going right into worship. Oh, all praise is due to Jordy. Oh, you are the one who I bow before, with where all light shines from. Oh, the holy master of all that is sacred. Jordan Peterson contains that is which all beauty and all shall be revealed. If I don't do that like right off the bat, it's just like an immediate thumbs down, which is a healthy response, of course, and nothing weird or wrong about that. That's just how people should think and act.